What's going on, everybody? It's the Bull Show, aka Aiden, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are finally going to be talking about the Chicago Bulls. It has been a week since I've mentioned the name of the Chicago Bulls, and I really did miss talking about the draft. I really did miss talking about a lot of these other players. There have been a lot of news stories over this past week that I've missed. I've never felt such a busier week, and I couldn't really do much about it at all. I could have had a bunch of videos made providing all of those updates, giving you guys all of the news and all of that, which is something that I really like to do. But at the end of the day, I took my rest, I took my time off, and today will be that video where we discuss, I guess, the things that I've missed out on in relation to the news, in relation to what's been happening around the Chicago Bulls, and ultimately some of the decisions that can decide the fate of the Chicago Bulls as we speak today. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bull Show. Turn notifications on and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and all the news stories that has occurred over the past week. What do you deem as true? What do you deem as, I guess, rumors? And overall, what do you think our final decision will be made in relation to the NBA draft? Do we trade the draft pick? Do we trade into the lottery? Do we trade into the second round? Do we package a deal for a big player? Or do we keep where we are and we end up going for the best available in the position that we're in? And we're going to get started with the NBA draft with the first piece news story. It's about Dominic Barlow, ladies and gentlemen. Now, funnily enough, the second last video that I've made, the one that I made before I took this week break, was about Dominic Barlow and how he was a relatively, I guess, unknown talent, but the NBA draft boards has been rising in relation to this player. There have been a lot of people, a lot of teams very interested in this player. And the Chicago Bulls seem to be another team that's been added to that package. They seem to be very interested in Dominic Barlow and could potentially be, I guess, a person that they pursue with that 18th overall pick, or maybe they could even have to trade downwards into the second round. Who really knows where Dominic Barlow will end up going? They do like his length, his size, and his ability, and he's had a couple of great workouts with the Chicago Bulls. So I think I said in terms of that video that he's a sleeper pick, but he wouldn't be my first choice. I'm obviously going to stand by that decision, but the most important thing for me and the most important thing about for any Bulls fan, in my opinion, is if the front office, Arturas, and Eversley and everybody in relation to the management team likes this player, because we have to entrust that they know what they're doing in terms of the NBA draft and they know what they're doing in terms of the future of this team. And so far, I still have that faith and I still have that belief that they can take us to the places that we need to go, whether I agree or disagree with their, I guess, ways of getting there. So Dominic Barlow is obviously not my first choice at the 18th overall pick. I can't lie and say that he is. But if they like him and they believe he is worthy of that 18th overall pick, when he does get selected, if he does get selected, I'll be more than happy to give him that opportunity, to give him that chance to welcome him into the Chicago Bulls with open arms. Hopefully he'll be available in the Summer League, so we get to see more of him, I guess, in that type of environment. And just hopeful for success in the future. That's all we could really ask for. We want the best players here. We want players that are willing to work hard. We want players that will try to get us to the goals that we want to get to. And if Dominic Barlow is the answer, if the Bulls front office believes Dominic Barlow is the answer, then I'm more than happy to welcome him into the Chicago Bulls team. I do like the player, of course. I've said that in the video as well. I'm just not sure if he's the best available for the 18th overall pick. We'll just have to wait and see what that future means. But a lot of interest in Dominic Barlow, so let's just wait and see the outcome. Now let's get started on some Zach LaVine news, ladies and gentlemen. Now, it has been reported that Zach LaVine is likely to re-sign early with the Chicago Bulls. I feel like this was obviously the biggest and most, I guess, relevant outcome to occur out of Zach LaVine's free agency. I obviously was very scared of Portland. I feel like that was the only team that truly scared me in terms of pursuing Zach LaVine. And it looks like now the rumors are leaning towards the Bulls are going to keep Zach LaVine for the long term. He's going to re-sign early with the Chicago Bulls team. He's going to get with this team, I guess you could say. And we'll wait and see how the outcome is. Now, in terms of AK saying keeping the continuancy together, keeping the core together and stuff like that, obviously Zach LaVine was very important to that. The Bulls were always very confident in keeping keeping Zach LaVine with the Chicago Bulls, and I still don't believe or see a reason why they won't be confident in keeping Zach LaVine for the long term. This also brings a little bit of security in terms of if we ever wanted to trade Zach LaVine in the future, at least now it will be up to us and not necessarily up to Zach LaVine and up to, I guess, where he wants to go. We have the bargaining power if Zach LaVine decides to stay with the Chicago Bulls and we end up just don't see it working out. It's very important for either we want to get rid of Zach LaVine or we want to keep Zach LaVine, that we at least have the option to keep him long term and we can decide that future on our own. So I'm very, very happy that the rumors are leaning towards Zach LaVine re-signing with the Chicago Bulls. Now, ultimately, rumors are rumors. Doesn't necessarily mean it's true, and he could still definitely leave the Chicago Bulls team. But I've always been confident, I've always been, I guess, assured that he would stay with the Chicago Bulls. Of course, there's been teams left, right, and center. We've seen the Lakers, we've seen the Dallas Mavericks, we've seen the Portland Trail Blazers, we've seen teams be interested and rumored around Zach LaVine before. But I've always felt like we were the best destination for Zach LaVine. We were most likely to keep Zach LaVine. There was always a chance that he could go somewhere else, and you have to be open to that chance. You have to be accepting that Zach LaVine might just not want to be here. But it looks like things are going according to what I think the Bulls really wanted, and that was keeping Zach LaVine. So I'm happy about that. Obviously, we'll wait and see if those rumors were true, but good to see those rumors around Zach LaVine is with the Chicago Bulls at the moment. Let's talk about Nikola Vucevic, ladies and gentlemen. There's been a lot of rumors about potentially, I guess it's two minds with Nikola Vucevic at this point in time. There have been a lot of people saying that they believe Vucevic will stay with the Chicago Bulls next season. And there's also a lot of, I guess, articles and stories about Nikola Vucevic potentially being a guy that the Bulls look to trade. Now, there's only a select few players I would honestly trade Nikola Vucevic for, and that's because we want to trade Vucevic for a better player. You don't want to trade Vucevic for a player that's not as good. You don't want to really trade Vucevic for a guy that doesn't necessarily bring any sort of offensive game, because at the end of the day, I feel like we need a center that has a good defensive game and a good offensive game. If you can get two centers that fit both those playing styles, that's great. But if you're trading an offensive center for a defensive center, at the end of the day, you're not really gaining that much, in my opinion. You need both. And unfortunately, some of the rumors about Vucevic and trading is not necessarily what I would like. For example, I've seen Nikola Vucevic in sign and trade deals with Mitchell Robinson. I don't think we should be looking to trade Vucevic for Robinson. I think we should be bringing them both to this team playing together. I've already said, in terms of getting Rudy Gobert, I feel like you're going to have to sacrifice a lot, but I think that sacrifice is worth it. Unless you put Patrick Williams in the deal. If you put Patrick Williams in that deal, I do not agree with getting rid of all of our young talent just to acquire Rudy Gobert. At the end of the day, he is a lot of risk and he requires a lot of assets to obtain. And some of the assets I believe can work better with the Chicago Bulls team. And we won't have that much assets remaining to help improve this team in the future as well. Which means the problems that we still have with Rudy Gobert, the problems that we still have with, I guess, the three-point shooting, the bench, it's going to remain big problems on this team because we won't have much room to really improve it. So that's very important as well. So I don't agree with giving up a lot of, I guess, all of our young assets for Rudy Gobert. But again, I can live with Kobe White and Vucevic and a pick going to get Rudy Gobert. I just can't see a world where we give up Kobe White and Patrick Williams, and I don't really want to give up Patrick Williams whatsoever. So that's the direction that I'm in at this point in time. And also, I guess, and when it comes to Rudy Gobert, there is a lot of rumors about him as well. Recently, I saw a rumor that we are trying to acquire him on draft night. Again, we'll wait and see how that turns out. At the end of the day, there have been a lot of Rudy Gobert rumors. I don't think you can hide from the fact that the Bulls are at least interested in the player. I'm not sure if we'll be able to acquire him or not. I feel like there have been a lot of other teams that could probably offer more than what we can. But at the end of the day, if we're the ones leading the race or pursuing Rudy Gobert and we end up getting him, I will trust what AK wants to do. If he gives up Patrick Williams, will I be upset about it? Of course I will. I'll be very upset. I want Patrick Williams on the Chicago Bulls team. But at the same time, I have to trust what Arturas and the front office wants to do. If that's sacrificing Patrick Williams for Rudy Gobert, I won't be happy about it, but I have to support it because I believe that they are the ones that can take us to a championship. We've had so many bad years under Gar Pax and all of that, and I don't want to be judgmental too early in terms of the AK regime. And I will have to trust them and believe in what they say. So when it comes to Nikola Vucevic trades, at the end of the day, select few players I would trade Nikola Vucevic for. I wouldn't trade him for a guy like Mitchell Robinson. I feel like we end up losing a lot in terms of what Vucevic can provide on the offensive end. For a guy like Rudy Gobert, I probably would. For a guy like DeAndre Ayton, I probably would. But I feel like outside of those two centers who I feel like are available and obtainable to get, a lot of the other centers that we're probably linked to won't be as realistic. I've seen Vucevic for John Collins around. I don't think that's going to happen in a million years. They both play different positions. I don't see why Atlanta would want Clint Capella and Nikola Vucevic on the same team. That doesn't make sense to me. So at the end of the day, there are some really unrealistic ones in my eyes. But at the end of the day, the two centers like a DeAndre Ayton or like a Rudy Gobert, I probably will trade Vucevic for, in all honesty. No disrespect there. But if it's anybody else that we're kind of linking to trading Vucevic with, I'd rather just give Vucevic the second chance and see where we can go from here. Obviously, we have to talk about Coby White as well. I feel like this is the last player I'm going to be talking about. There's been a lot of rumors that Coby White could potentially be in a lot of trade deals and packages revolving around the 18th overall pick. Try to get an experienced, or I guess a shooter, a veteran player as well. And at the end of the day, I'm not surprised that there's been a lot of Coby White trades. At the end of the day, I feel like 90% of the Bulls, I guess, fan base kind of see this coming or want this to happen. So I'm not surprised that there are a lot of talk about Coby White being traded. I just hope that we trade Coby White for a different position. I don't feel like trading a point guard or a combo guard in Coby White for another combo guard makes that much sense, if you get what I'm saying. We have so many guards already on this team. I think the reason why it's so acceptable for many people to trade Coby White is because we have positions that we do need filled. We need a forward. We need a center. Those are two positions that we could look at and say, look, if we have to give up Coby White, it might not be the best deal that we're looking for. It might not be the best player that we want, but it's in a different position and it helps the Chicago Bulls team. I'm all for that. And at the end of the day, I hope Coby White has a really great future wherever he decides to go, whichever team he gets traded to. But if we're just trading a guard for a guard, I'd rather keep Coby White and hope he can improve his trade value at some stage of this season so we can get the best available trade possible. Because I don't see the point in trading a guard for another guard. I just don't see that point. So I hope that we're looking for, I guess, a different position in regards to trading Coby White. If we have to package that 18th overall pick, I'm not sure if that's necessarily worth it either, because I feel like you can get a good player with the 18th overall pick. I'd rather package that for a big-time player. But at the end of the day, again, I've said this a lot in this video and it remains true. I will trust what Arturas and Eversley and the Bulls front office have to do in relation to Coby White, in relation to the 18th overall pick, in relation to the big trades that we see rumored, or even some of the smaller trades as well. I will trust what AK has to say and what he decides to do. His future, the Bulls' future is in his hands. It's in the Bulls front office hands, and I still trust them. I still believe that they know what's right for this team. Even if I don't agree with it, I believe they know what's right. And I can't say or claim that I know what's right. So if that's getting rid of Coby White, I will trust it. If that's getting rid of Patrick Williams, as upset as I will be, I will trust it. If that's getting rid of Gobert, I will trust it. I just hope they know what they're doing, and I believe that they do. That's really all the updates that I have to say. If I did miss any, obviously I missed probably some, like Patrick Williams training with DeMar DeRozan. I think that's very huge. DeMar is one of those players that will probably get the best out of Patrick Williams in my eyes. I think his game can really help Patrick Williams' game, and hopefully he can come back more aggressive next season, Patrick Williams. But at the end of the day, very interesting to see Patrick Williams and DeMar working together. I did miss on that, and I apologize for that. Obviously, you've seen guys like Javonte working hard, Ayo working hard. I did miss all of that, but that's not major big news story. So at the end of the day, I'm going to end this video here. If I did miss out on anything else, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Can't wait to be making Bulls videos, I guess, consistently again, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.